Many philosophers and scientists of the world have tried to answer the unanswerable question. And after many seconds of research, a man called Robert Gograngulin Spit, a noted scientist in the field of hypergrammatical myriadic baubles, discovered the answer. The answer was quite simple. He quickly wrote it down on his left tennis shoe so that he would not forget. The problem was, Robert had forgotten the question. He then went through years of strenuous research to try and find out what it was, and, while secretly doing so, many rival scientists had discovered the answer. No one would believe that it had been Robert who first found the result. From then on, Robert lived a quiet, solitary life in the country, trying to forget his most unfortunate past. But he could not bring himself to do so, for he still kept with him his left tennis shoe. He kept his right tennis shoe in a hidden box, which he kept hidden in a secret cupboard in a distant house in a foreign land. "But this makes no sense," I hear you say in furious protest. "Why does Robert conceal his right shoe, but keep his left shoe?" I will tell you why in the next sentence. Because in his right shoe he had always kept in secret his most prized possession, his right sock. He daren't reveal this to anyone, so he locked it away, never to see the light of day again. But again I see you are confused. Why does he not dispose of his left shoe? That is a question. Robert kept his left shoe because it was given to him by his childhood hero, Hamish McFagan, the international hockey champion from 1932 to 35. So where is Robert now? He remains in the large valley, where one side of the hill meets the other in a sort of dip. He is virtually possessionless, save his beard and his clothes, and he lives on his own, alone, by himself, by himself, by himself, by himself. Last night, I dreamt of Catherine again, for the umpteenth bloody time. This time, we were in a bar, not dissimilar to the one we once drank in, all those years ago. The ceiling and the lights were low, and she sat opposite me, chatting and beaming at me. She then stood up and, being a tall girl, bumped her head on a beam. She reddened and started to cry. Resuming her seat, she wailed at me, "Now I need you." It upsets me that my subconscious wants her to hurt herself before conceding to need me, but it serves her right. A fictitious bump is nothing to the years of unreciprocal affection I've wasted on her. Nothing. Catherine. Round and round she goes. The Sandman doesn't sleep. He spends his nights pulling her strings in my mind while his days are taken up with writing the script for his next performance. He's pathetic. Out of us three, I don't know whom I most despise. Sleep simultaneously shortens and lengthens the existing distance between myself and Catherine. When I awake, we are two celibate lumps on two hills. While my hill is very much real, hers is merely my perception of where she belongs. I have never been certain of anything about her, and I am still not this morning. My illiteracy astounds me. Having started the story in a rather annoying way, I decide to go on an adventure. So, I put on my left shoe, I put on my right shoe, take a swig of Scotch-flavored whiskey, and stride off with a healthy stride. It is not long before I come upon a man. He is wearing a green jumper, a hat, and bowling shoes. He is smoking an origami cigarette, which produces a considerable amount of smoke. I ask him, "Where is the nearest pub?" "Down there," he says. "Thank you," I say, and walk on. Presently I come across a bicycle, leaning against a fence post. I succumb to sweet, sweet temptation, and ride it down the hill, and I say, "Whee!" I realize that the two wheels are punctured, and I slam my foot on the brakes. I elegantly alight and collect my shoe. I now find myself outside an inn. I see that it is cleverly entitled, "The Do Come Right On Inn." I quietly chuckle to myself and, intrigued, walk inside. Upon opening the door, I am thrust, voluntarily, into a thick atmosphere of hearty cheers, chesty coughs, and nosy parkers. But the room goes silent. I cautiously amble toward the bar, and when I get there I ask for "A small pint of beer, please," when an old fisherman, wearing a navy blue woolen jumper and a navy blue woolen hat, removes his navy blue woolen pipe from his mouth and says,
"Arr, you don't want to be drinking that stuff. It's bad for ye."
And with that he takes a healthy swig of orange juice.
"Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about."
The barman gives me my beer, and I am about to sit down at the bar when...
"Arr, you don't want to be sitting at the bar. It's unhygienic and smells of chicory."
"Chicory? What's that mean?"
I decide to leave the bar and find somewhere else to sit. As I turn to leave, I hear the old seaman holler at me,
"Arr, come back and sit at the bar."
I turn to do so, and when I reach my original place at the bar, the old man says,
"Arr, you don't want to be sitting next to me. I'm incredibly annoying."
I decide to sit next to the old buffoon anyway and drink my beer. "Slurp," I say.
"Arr,
Interrupts the old man.
you should not have come here. You are in great danger."
"Oh?"
"Oi, you must leave at once."
"Don't listen to him. He's only here to thicken the plot,"
says the barman. "Oh, really?"
"No,
says the old man.
don't listen to him. You are in great danger. You must leave now, or else seek out." The beast.
The beast, I say.
The beast.
He says. The beast, I say.
The beast.
He says. The beast, I say.
The beast.
He says. But what is this beast, I say.
This beast
Says the old man.
is no ordinary beast.
No?
No. He has hair up to his neck, as white as freshly laundered snow. He has a scarlet beard and a long green hooked nose. He has long arms with 7-fingered hands, and he has a ginger pudding basin haircut. He rides a moped and lives in a pea-green cave only a couple of miles from here. He's 5 foot tall and as strong as a Great Dane. Oh, and he goes crazy for extra light cream crackers.
The old man hands me a photograph. I look at it. I stare at the old man, and he returns my gaze. He is clearly insane and possibly dangerous, but something in his beard tells me otherwise, so I decide to humor him. But why must I go and seek him?
Well, if you won't, I will.
And with that, the old man leaves the inn with a defiant limp and a sexy hunch. I may never see him again. I sup from my pint, and I decide to go outside. I need some air. Nobody cares about my shoe. It is then that I come across a small, turkey-coloured man in a bowler hat, carrying a briefcase. He is striding with deliberate length, in deep concentration. When he arrives at my feet, he looks up at me and grins. He holds out 2 of his many fingers and says, "Peace!" "Peace," I say to him, for it is a kind gesture. He offers me a lift. "Can I give you a lift?" he says. "No," I say, though it is a kind gesture. "I'm a door-to-door salesman," he says. "I was on my way to a door now when I bumped into you, so I may as well kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Can I interest you in this stone? Ideal for killing 2 birds." I ignore his crude gag and politely refuse. "No, thank you," I say. "It gathers no moss," he says. "Thank you, no," I say. Well, how about this metronomic needle and thread? It's a stitch in time." I seem to be in conversation with the proverbial thief who hasn't been caught. "I must be going," I say. "It was nice talking to you. I hope you find a door soon." When one door of happiness closes, another opens. But often we look so long at the closed door that we do not see the one which is open for us. Have a banana." He gives me a banana. "Good day," he says, and walks on. As I look at the fruit given to me by the stranger, I am reminded of a dream. On the 7th day, God rested, and on his stroll around the world, admiring his work, he came upon something which took him quite by surprise, something which had not been in his design at all. A solitary purple flower poking out of the pathway on which he stood. It transpires that this flower was love. All of this was related to me by God himself in a cinema. He told me to keep quiet about it, and added, "I've got some more of those flowers in the back room if you want some." "No thanks," I said. "I've got Catherine." The look he then gave me confirmed my belief in him, and the positioning of his eyebrows implied that I was going to hell. The entire dream lasted no longer than a minute, and I awoke without Catherine once more.
Ahoy there, young man.
Croaks an old woman. Ahoy, I say. She offers me a lift.
Do you want a lift?
She says. I'm heading in the other direction, I say.
Oh, don't worry, sausage.
She says.
The road's much the same down there as it is up here.
And so, with this persuasion, I clamber aboard.
My name's Mrs. Ambleboundy. I'm a very smelly old woman who works for the police.
She says. The police, I say.
The police.
She says. Oh, I say. And may I ask what you are doing?
Oh, yes, well, I won this police boat as a prize for some competition I entered. And I won this competition, and I won this police boat as a prize, you see? And now I'm in hot pursuit of a criminal.
She says. Gosh, how exciting, I say.
You may have come across him. Here.
She hands me a photograph. It is the mysterious turkey-coloured door-to-door salesman. Heavens above, I say. It's the mysterious turkey-coloured door-to-door salesman.
You know him then?
Says Mrs. Amblebounder. Indeed I do. He tried to talk me into buying a stone, I say.
Any bananas?
She asks. I reply, yes, why?
It's his criminal trademark,
she says. I see, I say. Then full steam ahead. The chase is on. Then we catch him, and immediately row him to the nearest police shop. When we arrive, we are greeted by a jolly little policeman. He carries a threatening truncheon, which he immediately shows me. He seems very proud of it. He has just been given it by an elder constable. In fact, he has only just been given the job. In fact, he is just a stupid little boy. You're just a stupid little boy, aren't you? I say. The funny little idiot retorts.
My name is Constable Garrett, your local policeman. What can I do for you, sir, madam?
We've just caught the infamous turkey-coloured man. Where do you want him? I say.
Ooh! I'll just go and get my superior.
The boy runs off, and after a moment of audible excitement, out comes his superior officer. The new policeman is much taller and fatter. His shoes are very nicely polished, to the point of being very shiny, which matches his hat. Anguish is written all over his face, except for his chin, on which is written excitement. He strides out of the station, does a triple axle turn onto the pavement, and as he walks towards us, finishes it off with a salco.
Hello, hello, hello. My name is Sergeant Spratt,
he says.
I hear you have caught a thief.
Yes, that's right, I say. And then, Mrs. Amblebounder, show him the criminal. Sergeant Spratt beckons forth the turkey-coloured man. He is taken off by the scruff of his hat, his hands behind his back. I watch the door close, and I leave the party. One thing that I have observed in my many years of study in the field of hypergrammatical myriadic baubles is that life is made up of imperfect circles. Catherine and I are like a bauble chopped in half. She is the top half, suspended independently, overshadowing, waiting to pounce. I am the bottom half, bobbling at the bottom like a babbling, bumbling bauble, fumbling and fondling my gaping, groping heart, waiting for my superior to complete me.